Hi, this is Corey, and I wanted to gain some insight into how uh, self-driving cars are impacting the acquisition of geographical data. And the first search statement I used was self-driving cars topography. And I got a variety of different sources, one of which that I liked was from Newsweek, so it is relatively authoritative. I wanted to get newspapers and medias in general that would give me kind of a background into my research question. And so this is an American magazine publication. And although the author doesn't have a particularly technological based background, he does write technology related articles. And a lot of the authors he cites are executives in the field that work for autonomous vehicle companies or companies that are interested in geographical acquisition from autonomous vehicles. And the other article I looked at was from the New York Times. And so it is relatively authoritative as well. It's a publication for a general audience. And similarly, the author for this doesn't have a technology-based background. However, he does write articles technology related. And a lot of the sources he used are from experts in the field, a lot of executives, and as well as the National Traffic Safety Administration, which was nice for him to cite because that kind of gave me more variety into the sources of this particular article and for my research in general. These two sources really focused on the pursuit of geographical data for autonomous vehicles, but didn't really necessarily focus on the impact that autonomous vehicles are having on geographical data. So I wanted something more specific, and I thought that by putting geographical data in my search statement, that would kind of give me a more specific result. And so I put it in quotations to ensure that I had that particular statement in my results. And I was kind of disappointed. Many of the articles that I got were blogs and such, but one of the better articles was from USA Today. So it is a little bit more authoritative than the blogs that we were seeing earlier. It's March 2017, so it is fairly recent. Another downside of this source is that it is more general and it doesn't focus particularly on my research question as much as it does on autonomous vehicles in general, but it does talk a little bit about mapping and gives a perspective of different experts and executives in the field. Another source that I looked at, which I thought would be interesting because it looks at Nokia and what they're doing with geographical acquisition, wasn't the most reputable source, didn't have a lot of authority. It did cite some reputable sources, however, it didn't give a particular author, although it's 2016, so it is fairly recent. It was lacking in author and coming from a reputable source, a reputable website that I kind of would have liked. But it did kind of give me some background into Nokia and perhaps questions that I can further research in terms of what Nokia is doing. So that was helpful. But I wanted to narrow it down and get more specific into exactly how autonomous vehicles are impacting geographical acquisition, which I feel like this search, the second search, hadn't done. And so I made sure I included autonomous vehicles or to allow my search results to be expanded to self-driving cars or autonomous cars, which would hopefully give me an expanded search result. And I included geographical data, which I included in quotations again, or cartography, which I hoped that particular term would expand my search results and hopefully give me more scholarly sources. And I was relatively pleased. One of the articles that I found was from Waymo, which is relatively authoritative, although perhaps its purpose for providing its information could be questioned since it is a company itself that helps Google and other companies acquire geographical data. But it also is, in a sense, a primary source, which is good. And the other source I looked at was from San Jose Mercury News, which is a fairly reputable news source. And though it is from 2015, so it is a little bit dated, it does cite a lot of different executives and experts in the field from a multitude of companies, which was really nice in providing a variety of sources for my research and for this particular source. And both of these articles, as well as many of the different articles I got from this particular search statement, were better in providing information for particularly how cars impact geographical data. And so that was nice and helpful. Thank you.